Hi, welcome back. Here we're going to look at the knife syllabus, okay? This is dealing strictly with Daga, all right? Different lengths of weapons, different grips, different types of knives. Of course, we're going to use wooden knives. All we're going to look at here is what is in the syllabus for the Corral system Arnis. We're not going to get caught up in actually, too much of the teaching aspects, but, showing you the drills that you need to train, why you have those drills, different drills pertaining to different grips on the knife, and things like that, all right? So rather than being a lesson, we're going to go through the actual syllabus, and this is what is involved in training. Some of the things that you see you may have seen before, other things you may not have seen, it doesn't matter, all right? It's to your advantage if you have seen it before. No problem if you haven't. If it's all brand new to you, you should be able to still work it all out from this. Now, with the dagger itself, okay, the first thing that you want to note is the grips. You essentially get a knife grip, which is holding the blade this way, and a dagger grip, which is holding it this way. With the knife grip, we put it into two categories. A file grip with your thumb on the edge of the knife this way, like filing, or a hammer grip where your thumb wraps around the actual blade this way, not up here. And that's as in hammering, okay? Now, a hammer grip is a very strong grip and very good for, slashing and cutting. You can stab with it as well. Whereas the file grip is more maneuverable. You get more wrist turning, cutting, this sort of business, okay? You get range as well with this type of grip. You have the extra length in the weapon. It's going to give you a lot of advantage that way. With the dagger grip, okay, this grip itself, assuming we have a single-edged knife, and the edge here on the outside, all right, we call this in a slashing motion a reverse dagger. It has the blade on the reverse side, whereas if the blade's turned around, then it's just a normal dagger grip or ice pick grip. This type of grip, classic aggression, pick up some weapon and they want to take you out and stab. This could be used for a screwdriver and any type of pointed weapon. When you're using it with the reverse dagger on the outside, here you're prone to be slashing. You can still stab with it as well. But of course you can go off like this, but it's not that ripping type of thing. It's more slash and stab. With the blade back around in dagger, it's more tearing, okay? Now, in a situation with a knife, you might find that someone, picks up a weapon and comes at you in this type of fashion. It can tell you a bit of their intent. This person's lost the plot, they're really angry, they want to take your head off. Whereas if someone comes up with a knife and holds it at your throat, here it's a different mode. It might be a robbery or a mugging. They're not really just going off their face and trying to kill you, all right? They've got a knife, there's a motive behind it. It's more intimidation. Now, we're going to look at different ways of training with the different grips, okay? Getting used to contact, demystifying a few things maybe, and clarifying a few, bad moves as well. With knife training, you learn a lot about what not to do. You find things that do work. Of course, you want to find things that work, but you also find what doesn't work and what to keep away from, which is something that should be kept in mind a lot, all right? Now, if we start off with the file grip, and that's having just the knife with the thumb along this way, our basic stance with the knife is having our lead hand in the front, okay? With this, I don't want to be standing this way with the knife back, all right? There's a chance of this hand getting cut. People do fight this way with the back and clear and come in. Although this way here is your first line of defense as well as your longest range in attack as well, or offense. Now, you don't want to be standing up like this and straight. There's so much body exposed on the profile. This is very flat, all right? Want to sort of lean over more, okay? My left hand now, as I get down a bit, it starts to, guard my throat. The elbow's in guarding the ribs and the heart. This hand here is down a bit. I can feel this type of thing in between. Know that I'm tight and compact. My boundaries are tight. This elbow comes in, all right, not this type of thing. Keep it in this way, all right? You want to imagine that you've got a coffin around you, okay? It's good to remember a coffin. You don't want one around you. But by keeping inside that boundary, all right, keeping in tight, okay? Now, any shots that come in, you take on the arm, of course, but it's better than taking them on the torso itself. The other advantage about this is that it brings you down, therefore you're more compact, okay? this type of thing, the body is back from the knife. The knife's out here. I've got distance this way. I'm not up like this. There's not much distance. If a knife comes in and I want to cut it here, it can still reach me. If I bag, it comes in, I can cut it, and I've still got room. I can tuck back. So you want to imagine someone's wheeled a barrel into you, and you're leaning over the barrel. Okay? It's over the barrel this way, and on the profile type thing, looking this way. You don't want to be peering over a cliff, all right, putting all your weight on your front foot. That limits your movement. You want to have it so that your weight's pretty well even in distribution, but you still, you've got your center of gravity this way, you've got a straight line through your body this way. You're not putting all your weight forward and leaning forward. You can still lean back, you can still reach, okay? So I can reach this way, I can lean back and come, okay? If all my weight's forward, I find it difficult to get enough time to quickly move back. Now, with this type of stance, the first thing that you can look at is what we call the V movement. Now, the V movement is imagining you have a line from your shoulders running towards the center of the opponent. Okay, and this is the track the knife follows. It comes in on the forehand, it turns and pulls back out again. It comes back in this way and twists and pulls back out again. This is a V movement shaping that V. Okay? And what's happening here is that you're going in for the center of mass. If it goes into the person and you're in a fight to the death, all right, you want to do some serious damage, you turn the knife, which goes in and turns and pulls out the other side. This causes a coring type effect. When you come back, it twists internally and comes back. This type of thing. It can work to the body, it can work high to low to high. It doesn't really matter which way. Okay? You don't want to just go in and back like this. There's no flow in that. You want to keep it wherever you're going from to the next shot. We'll look at that in more detail a bit later. So, the other thing is, if the opponent blocks that knife, you can twist and pull back and cut him on the limb. If he blocks here, you can cut him again. Okay? Before you bring in a second person to start training this, what you should try is just, in your stance, don't get all tense up here. Relaxed but focused. And just work this motion. Work this motion in the V movement, coming in and out. You can work it on a bag, on a pole, anything that you can hit the sticks with. Then you incorporate your alive hand. Remember, this is the alive hand from the stick work. It does things. It blocks attacks, other functions as well. You stab and then clear, or clear his attack and come back. Boom, boom. It's one hand after the other. Okay, this just gets a symmetry thing working, which keeps you flowing, keeps you moving. If you're just going to be, taking pot shots like this, it's very stop and start. You're better off to just try and get into a flowing motion. Keep your shoulders relaxed, it's easier to flow. You can switch it into a hammer grip and try it. Okay, and then compare that to a file grip. Just notice the difference in the mechanics of the arm and the wrist and the hand. How you can, get different advantages, I suppose, in maneuverability or in strength, depending on which grip you're going to use. Now, I might just ask Jim to give us a hand, if he can. We'll just run through a few drills here. We'll look at the V motion drill and working an in-file grip. So we're taking file grip, which is this way, Jim. And if we work that V movement, so what's happening here is that as I come into attack, he clears that attack by knocking it down, and then I have to clear his attack. This is how the alive hand is working with the knife hand. If I don't use the alive hand, I'm stabbed. And then I'm stabbed again. I have to clear it. So we can bring in angles like that are quite wider. We can tighten it up and bring them in this way. But all the time that this is happening, you have this turning of the knife. So if I just go in and pull back or this way, again, it's more static, all right? I want to be able to flow through with it. If I go in here and Jim blocks it, I want to pull back and cut his hand if possible. If I come in here, I can twist the knife and pull back, all right? If Jim attacks me and I block here, he just cuts the arm straight away. It's just natural to pull back when someone blocks something. Come in on the backhand, even this, he just cuts it straight away. So in our motion, at any time, you can cut and pull on the pat check there. So in training that, you're looking to cut the arm. You might put in a cut across the forearm and come back. All this is based on the V motion. So there, if I go high, Jim cuts my arm underneath, all right? If I go low, he cuts it over the top. So you get this high and low thing happening, all right? You're not going to react. And if the shots come in, it's going to be up here, down there, this side or that side, all right? And so it's good for peripheral vision to just zone out a bit. If we pick up the pace a little, you really cannot afford to predict, where the shot's coming from. So you can play with the different speeds in there, all right? The important thing is to acknowledge when you get nicked on the finger, if you get nicked on the arm, all right? These are play knives. And the real thing, that nick on the finger could go to the bone. It might not hurt at the time a lot because it's a cut, but the sight of your own blood will, distract you. Not to mention the arm and everything else. Which brings us to different grip again. If we're looking at the dagger grip, all right, it's a different function there. With the file grip, if I attack here, actually, do you want to just take that one? If I attack and Jim blocks, if you just block with your arm, inside. Here I just pull down and cut. Whereas if I have a dagger grip and he blocks this, I can lock onto here, I can skin the arm that way, I can pull it down that way, all right? It's really, getting hacked a lot. There's a different type of feel. So it's imperative in dagger grip, when he comes in on the shot, if you end up on this inside part here, you want to take advantage of stopping that. You know you're going to get cut, all right, and go straight in, okay? Whether you go into his arm or into his neck, depends on you. It's your call, all right? It's a matter of whether you're going to survive this attack. You're going to get cut on the arm. It's better than getting cut here. So we call this sacrificing Phill. So if he comes in on a shot, I'm straight into him. Now, I might not want to go to jail, so I might put this back into his arm this way. He comes in on the shot. I could come in here, all right? It might go over the top, so I can cut here and control, all right? He'll go with it if there's a knife to get into his arm, don't worry. Even if I'm this way and he comes in on that, I take the block and I'm in with the knife. So as he comes in there, bang. It's all happening at once, all right? I can't afford to get this and pull out and do this. Something else might happen. As he comes in, pull straight into him. Okay? If he's coming in at my head, I want to, clear the knife away, but I've got to get my body out of the path. If you're coming from just in front there, over here, and I do this, I'm stabbed. As he comes in, I've got to move in case I miss. So as that comes in, putting in the shot. Okay. If it comes in on a backhand, anywhere on the backhand, yep. And I get a cut here, or a stop here, all right, I can pull back and cut. If I'm in dagger grip, I can rip it. Here, I want to go straight into him again. So basically, you get two ranges. He comes in on a dagger shot. I can let it get past me. Or, if I can't go back, I've got to go into him. All right? That's basically the bottom line. The way we practice with this is when he comes in on the shot, rather than getting into here, is to get behind the hand and parry it away. All right? He gets behind the hand. Get behind it this way and this way. So again, it's very similar to the V motion drill, except instead of using a V motion, we're using a dagger grip. we're using random angles. In fact, we're using 1, 2, 3, 4, and a straight ahead attack, which could be a 5 or a 10, depending on how you do it. So they're the same angles as we have with the sticks. You might put in, different timing shots that way. High to low. You end up recognizing if it comes in on a high shot or a low shot. You recognize the forehand and you recognize the backhand. Now, to fine-tune that, when he comes in, say on a high shot, if I just flip it away like this, I can get out of the way of the shot. But I want to try and hit it back towards him a bit as well. Hit it over. His momentum is going to carry across, all right? If I just, say you're coming in to even stab, or just a slash, a simple slash. If I parry like this, all right, I'm going to cut my own throat. His momentum's going to go across, all right? So here, I've got to hit it back towards him, all right? If he comes in on the backhand, I've got to hit it back towards him. If I parry that backhand, it's just going to cut me, all right? Low shots, I've got to hit it down away from him, all right? He comes in on the backhand, hitting it down, okay? Hitting it down that way, all right? If I just parry there, it's going to cut me, all right? So with my stance, there, as he comes in, I can tuck back. When he comes in, I can tuck back. Now, as he comes in, I can cut or stab. I can cut and stab. All right? Now, if we go back to Daga, there should be no difference in this. We do a bit of flowing. We get behind the hand. We hit it up a bit. When it's low, we hit it down. So this is how we can practice redirecting the knife. If I find myself on the inside, he cuts me. And he keeps going. This is how I learn not to get on the inside. If we don't follow through a lot, we start to tighten up. It becomes quicker because there's not as much distance being travelled and it's less telegraphed. You've really got to get your live hand out of there before the next knife comes back in, which is usually your knife. If I get into here, I've been cut. Okay, just going to hit the button. Yes, Jim. It's a good one. Okay, now, we're going to look at a few drills, just basically ways of training it, all right? I'll call Jim back in if he can give us a hand, and we're just going to look at a few slash return things, some scissor drills, some hoop buds, just to show you a few things of how you can train with the knife, all right? Now, with the aspect of doing our dagger flow and parrying, and with the V movement and the hand-to-hand thing, we bring in these cuts, all right? The first thing we'll look at is called a scissors drill, and that involves the first 5 angles. We use the same angles as we had with the Arnis. As if Jim comes in on a number 1 angle here, what I'm doing is hitting him up and cutting this way. Now, if he comes back with a high backhand shot, I uncross and do this. All right, if he does it just a little quicker, boom, boom. I don't get time after the first shot to get back out here and maybe do this. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't, without doing it, without hurting him. But if it goes super quick, if I don't use hands to do it fast, this type of thing, it's just straight in, cross and uncross. So therefore, when it comes low, I'm hitting it down, I cut him here, and it comes back, and I uncross again. So I have this hitting down and hitting back, bang, bang. It's just a scissoring across and uncross. As it comes in, I hit down and down. Note that I tuck in my waist, and you can reach my body. I've got to rely on getting it out of the way as well, all right? If I miss with a shot, I want to make sure I'm clear, okay? He comes in high, I lean my head back. You're not going to get much time to move your feet. If the guy slashes at your head, he will move, upper body. So if we put the 4 angles together, he comes in on that. Cross and uncross, cross and uncross. Just works naturally, bang, bang. Okay? This type of thing. another way that we can use this or cash in on it is we can't keep blocking forever, all right? So if he comes in on a shot and I cut him or slash or the scissor, I want to return a stab, okay? This finishes the fight, even in Hollywood. Slashes, you fight forever, but once you get stabbed, you're gone. So in a way, with the limbs, you want to be slashing the limbs because they're going to be fast and moving around, whereas you can stab the body, all right? It's the center of mass. And you're not going to have much hope in stabbing an arm unless you've got a hold of it and you can stab it. If it's on the move and slashing, you're just going to be able to slash back at it. You're not going to be able to puncture it, you know? So what you do is when he slashes is cut the arm and go into the body, which you can stab. This will finish him. If he comes in on a backhand, I slash. Now, I must pack check because if I don't, he comes through with momentum, even if I cut him. So I've got to stop it and put in a return. Now, if he comes in here, say, if we just go this way, if Jim comes in on an attack and I do a big slash here and cut him, he can come back on me at the same time or even before I get to come back on him. And this is me using a Largo slash. You know, it's a long, slash. What I want to use is more a corto action where I keep it tight and feed the knife back into him. So when he slashes at me, I've already got him while his knife is following through. Can't come back yet. He's hit, push him away and get out of there. So when that comes in, it's slash, return. He comes in on the 2. It's slash, return. On the 3, slash, return, and slash, return. Even the 5 comes in. Slash, or again, if I get off center, I can return to the kidney. Depends where you end up. Alright? Now, basically if I feed Jim here, he goes slash, return, Wherever I feed these shots, he can actually use this. Nice and corto with the follow through on the slash. Okay? Whichever angle it comes from, you just have to be able to work it. So he's doing 2 shots for my 1. He's got bang, bang. I've only got the 1. But it's in. If I feed him 2, he does it twice as much. It's a matter of programming him to respond, with a short slash. So again, if I'm intimidating and I come in for a shot, he can actually do that. If I'm committed and really going off my face and don't think about it so much and come in to lunge at him, he can just take me out straight away. If he doesn't want to do a big slash, he won't do a big slash anyway. This is good. So, slash return, like it's just slashing the arm and returning the knife back to him, alright? Doesn't matter on the angle. So far in a nutshell, we can use our V motion, we can use this drill, and we're just playing around getting the hang of the V and the pat checking. Alright, I can pull out, and we go back into this. I could give him a big shot there, and back in. Shot here, and back in. Okay, we can go into dagger grip, and just flow with the dagger flow. Okay, we can mix our grips up and still use the dagger flow. I'm doing the V motion, he's doing that. It's all, we can use different sides. The knuckle sandwich. And also, from there we get slash return. If I attack, in, etc. You can work up your pace. You might feed single shots. He's only waiting for my, Then if I put in, pin cushion, not good. So, different ways of doing it. What you do notice, the common denominator is that once you cut, it's usually a cut to the limb, it's the closest thing, and the stab comes back to the body. Once the stab hits the body, end of story, alright? You can slash the body anywhere except the deep one across the throat. The ribs, you can slash, alright? The side of blood, big cuts. Across the forehead is good, a lot of blood there. Okay, it's not fatal, alright? Once the knife goes inside, into the body, then you can have fatalities. Imagine you've got a red patch across the neck, okay, that's your death zone, basically. From the delts in, any stabs that go in here, we're going to kill the guy, alright? So you want to stay away from that. Cut them on the arm, cut them on, the lats. It's much safer, okay? Take out the function of their muscles so they can't fight. Get out of there, all right? So if you are confronted and have to fight, some recommended ideas: keep tight, stance, this sort of thing. What you might find is though, someone comes along and mugs you, or you're into a blue or whatever, it could be a beer bottle, it doesn't have to be a knife, a bit of glass, anything sharp, you don't have a knife, and you end up empty-handed, alright? So we'll have a look at some empty-handed stuff against the knife. It's based on the same type of principles, alright? The attacks that they feed you are still the same sort of attacks. Whether they be slashing or stabbing, okay, doesn't matter, they're the same angles, alright? It's coming in here or here, high and low, square around you, alright, it's going to come in this way somewhere. The only disadvantage you have is that you haven't got a knife, okay? So, without a knife there, if Jim comes in on this first number one angle, I want to try and get out of the way, of course. It's a natural reaction to lean back and get out of the way, okay? I want to get out of this. If I can't lean back because I'm backed up against the table or furniture or a car or some reason, he comes in, I've got to go in. And this is the sacrifice and kill business again, except I have no knife to stab him with, I've got to go in. The eyes is the best thing. If he's coming in this way, straight into the eyes, alright? If I miss the eyes, I get a palm onto his face. That's going to disrupt, maybe hit the nose, cause tears, and then give him the eye shots. I've got to keep this away from him, okay? If he's coming in low there with a slash, bang, I've got to take the block, alright? I've got no option. I can't move back for whatever reasons were there. I go straight in. I don't want to block and then hit him. I've got to, exactly, he'll pull back. As he comes in, bang, hit him at the same time. Push him away, get out of there, alright? Now, if it comes in on the high backhand, again, you've got to stop it. Using two hands if necessary, okay? Stop it. This can shoot in straight away. You might just stop that, okay? You put elbow into here. You just shoot away, it doesn't matter. The idea is that you can't move back, alright? If I can move back on that, I can just, either clip it or as he comes in, I can just move all the way. That's, pot luck. Do you see it coming? What can you do? So usually you block. Alright, the worst thing you can do is when he comes in and say he's just out of range, he doesn't commit so much, and I do this. Putting my hand out there to block something, he's slashing around and I'm trying to do this, I'm just getting myself cut. I'm better off to avoid it. If he commits, that's when I come in to sacrifice and kill. Alright? Now, if he comes in on a straight thrust, I want to get rid of the knife, straight into the shot again. I'm basically moving out of the path of the weapon as he comes in and redirecting the weapon and then neutralizing, alright, which is taking him out. So as he comes in, bang, straight in there like this, alright? What you'll find is if he's just feeding attacks at you, you might use your scissoring action, okay? In which case now you're going to gaunt it, gaunting with the knuckles, alright? Empty hand, the mano, we look at that more, just attacking the limbs, bang, he comes back. I could hit him here and back fist into here. I could clear both. This way, he comes in low, putting a shot in here, and putting a shot in there as well. If he comes in on the thrust, flip across this way. When you train it, just use fingers. Okay, really you want to use knuckles. Bang. Alright. You can refine that target areas where you want to shoot them. Sure. But you don't want to get caught up too much with that. If there's a knife coming at you, you just get rid of it. If that can stun him or hurt the arm, it gives you a shot, it may let you come back and capture the hand. Alright? Now we're just going to look briefly at disarms, okay? Very difficult with a knife, really touchy area, okay? Essentially, if you can get a shot on the guy and get rid of him, get out of there, that's your best option, alright? But if he comes in on a number one and I block it here, alright, I might scoop it down in my hand this way, depending on whether he pulls back or not. He could come in, I might just redirect it this way. If I can, we get caught up here, redirect it into my hand. What's happening is I'm blocking, pulling it straight in there. Okay, this gives me the grip on the hand, okay, to control the knife. He might punch and kick and all that, that's cool, alright, as long as he doesn't stab me in it, okay? So As that comes in, it's like a hoobud. If we just do hoobud for a sec. Okay, we're working our hoobud drill. Now he comes in, I take it around, alright? If he's coming in on a low shot here, I've got to block it and redirect it. From here, he can shoot straight back up and cut me, so I've got to stop it. You get back into this sort of business. This is how these things occur. As he comes in on a slash, I get rid of it, I've got to stop this. Slide back to the hand. I'm using his arm as a track, coming back to it. I can't just pick it out of midair. No way. I've got to use his body to be moving around. If he comes in on the 2 angle, into this sort of business, I might knock it into this hand, okay? I might knock it away with that hand, in which case he's going to come back. I've got to stop it. If it's low, and he comes in and I knock it away, yeah, brilliant. That'll come up. I've got to put a lid on it. I knock it away, it's going to come up. I end up getting caught into this loop, okay? I've got to be able to stop it. It's a knife sandwich. One underneath, the knife in the middle, another hand on top, okay? It's this sandwich. I get rid of it, it's a sandwich. Now it's my arm and hand, but he's in the middle, okay? Whether I throw in a kick or just, go for control here, all right? I can't tell you what you're going to do under pressure, all right? They're just options. Comes in here, catch. Comes in here, catch. So basically, if you do get a hold of someone's arm or hand, all right, and you've got this, I'm going to show you just a couple of pressure points, all right, which you can use, which are quite accessible. And what you get is on the thumb here, a lot of times you come in on a backhand, you use patch X with the sticks and, you have a hand over here. If you close that hand across, you end up with this sort of grip, all right? And that's used a lot in stick disarms, control, throwing and stuff. If you pull this finger back to the ridge of the thumb, and you're just taking it from here back around to here, right? Just straight down the line, you'll find it. Find it on your mate, you'll turn, and you get into there, and bang, you get a spot. Now, this just helps in accessing, releasing the knife. Okay, it makes his hand, get an electrical shock. There's another one on the wrist, which is about an inch back from the fold of the wrist. Okay, if he's got a tight grip, and there's a hard part on the wrist there, you feel it on yourself. You can't access. You got to go back. Okay, and it's in the middle, pericardium, meridian. Okay, and wherever you've got him, you can just get a finger on there. I might have him this way. There's the shot. Bang. Depending on how you've got him, I might have to change the grip slightly. Right, so I'll be moving around and trying to get a grip on some sort of pressure point. I'm not going to zap him out because you can't feel it, and he already knows what it's like. But the idea is that they're accessible. You haven't got to get a microscope and go over the body and say, oh, there's a point there, bang, and here. It's right here, you've got it. He attacks me with a knife. I might get to this. Now, where am I? There is one. Bang, there's the other one. Okay, so just a couple. I'm not going to get into pressure points. This is just the knife, all right? But if you do get the knife, he's strong. I can't bend his wrist. He's going to be aggro and pumped, and if he's 6'4" and, going to kill me, I've got to do something. I've got to be able to, get that around there. If my hands are here, I haven't got this one, but I got this one. If I'm this way, or something like this, I can access this one, or I might have his wrist, I do this one. So you'll find it. Just takes a bit of practice. He's really strong, and you can't bend it. Boom, can't bend it. Bang, one of them. You'll find. So, as he comes in, simply up, capture, try and find the point. Comes in on 2. You could knock it straight down, this way. I don't really care which way you parry it, because you're going to parry it all different ways when you're doing it. You just have to end up capturing the knife. If he feeds back at me every time I redirect it, you can just work on practicing it. You speed it up, you slow it down, you see what worked, what didn't work, when you get cut, when you don't get cut, all right? It's a matter of getting rid of the stuff that's going to get you killed, all right? There's no magical thing you can do with a knife. When he comes in, it must be quickly, bang, you hit or smash an elbow or take the eyes. It's got to be that quick boom. Because if you don't get it in and working straight away, he'll be on you. And that's it, you know, you can only stop so many shots. You know, you get cut, and you're going to start panicking. Thing is, you've got to decide, am I out of the way? If I can't move, I move into the guy. Get into there. Get control on this. Get contact with him. Hold on to it. Use pressure points. If they're not working, stomp on feet, headbutt, all the rest of it. Don't neglect all your other tools, you know, and target stuff. Control that knife. If you don't control the knife, if I'm doing this and hitting him, he'll pull out. If I get a hand on the knife and capture it, and I go whack, he can pull out of this. I might think I got him, but hey, in a fight there might be sweat and it slips, you know. So once you do get it, hang on to it, all right? Get rid of this thing. If you can bend their wrist and you get it back up their hand, say you get a pressure point, bang, and he bends, or for whatever reason he bends, don't bend it this way, okay? Bend it straight back up the arm. That makes him let go. You just can take it. If that happens and you take the blade, okay, you cut through here, all right? It's better than this going in here, okay? So, except the fact you'll probably get cut, all right, empty-handed or with a knife. And if you have a knife, you've got to have it out in your hand before you can use it, all right? So really, it's empty-handed against it. Although with the knife, you do learn the attributes and the skills when he comes in of the slash return business. Yeah, you can work it on, you know, it's attribute training. With a knife in your hand, it gives you something to focus on, okay? So if I drop my knife in the fight, I can still fight and use guntings. He'll cut me, but I'll try and hit him, bang, or whatever comes through. Here I might, you know, put in a shot there, because if I can get to here, I'm out of range, remember? I don't want to, you know, try and do this and punch him in the head. Get out of there, okay? As far as, you know, putting in all this stuff, these natural reactions to drop that elbow, you know, if he's half a fighter and coming at me with a dagger, he'll probably take that, you know, just to stab you. So really, you've got to be careful of this. Now, there's no magical moves you can make, except basically know, is it high, coming in the forehand, the backhand, high and low, all right, coming straight ahead. Use the basic tactics, use your body. If he comes in and I'm standing here and I do this, he's going to cut me. Okay? If I'm in more of a knife stance, I can get this, but I've still got a gap here. All right? There's a good 8 inches of distance between the knife and my body. All right? Then these sort of knives, you know, I've often thought, well, a lot of people carry small blades this big. You know, they're very small and you can't see them a lot. You know, you're not going to be able to disarm like this sort of stuff. You know, if it's a big wide blade, you could, and you know, you get cut. That's okay. It's cut on the arm. In reality, with the smaller knives, you're not going to get them off in that. Okay, but a lot of the time, you're faced with a kitchen Wiltshire stay sharp. You know, the big 12-inch job. So training with long blades is a good idea because it does teach you the range. All right, and when you take it away, and you haven't got it, and he has, and he attacks, you soon learn, you know, that it's really hard to reach him. Okay, if he's got this extra range over you. All right, so it's important to mix up training with the knife on the knife, an empty hand on the knife. Okay. Anyway, the same angles applies with the stick. It's a sharp, short weapon. Okay. This is the main danger. You don't get the disarms like the snakes and all that stuff that we had with the stick work for obvious reasons. You're not going to snake up a knife; it'll rip it out of you. All right. With the other thing with this is if you do get a bend on the wrist, it either works straight away or it doesn't. In which case, if it's not working, you don't focus on this and keep fighting over it, like trying to snake a thing forever or do something. If it does work, bang, well then it's worked and you're in business. If you do access a point, bang, and it works, good. It happens quickly, all right? You don't want to spend time fighting over it and struggling over this while other things are happening, or he's pulling a second knife out of his other pocket. So, you know, if you can't, you know, the concealed hands and all that business, I'm not going to go into that, all right? This is more about how you can train attributes for it. Anyway, I think we've covered it all pretty well. Thanks, Jim. That's excellent. Someone's mobile in the distance goes off. Okay, thanks again. We'll see you soon. Hi, okay, we're back this time. Look at a spartery dagger. With a spartery dagger, classically speaking, it's the sword and the dagger. Alright, now, you might not find yourself walking downtown with a sword and dagger, but it could be a long weapon or a short weapon. It could be blunt, it could be sharp. Doesn't really matter, okay? What happens here is it teaches you attributes, knowing range, knowing how to move against different lengths of weapons coming at you at once, alright? A lot of the moves can be translated into empty hand or knife work or empty hand defense against various combinations of weapons. Not all of them can be, okay? But it teaches you skills and things that you need to know to react accordingly in different situations. You might find this could be a pull cue, this could be a broken bottle. It can be adapted to the modern day society, alright? It doesn't have to be classically a sword, okay, and a dagger. Back in those days when these weapons were the weapons to use in hand-to-hand combat, okay, the emphasis was on this. A lot of the Arnis, the stick work, the twirls and the angles this way, all's coming from sword work, okay? The dagger can be used in parrying, it can be used in killing, alright? Different range type of thing. If I'm fighting with a sword, for example, or with a stick, I've got long range. The knife is not going to reach. If I swap up with leads, they become a lot better this way. So I can get more reach, but then this starts coming forward. Then I get this. So you can have a really maximum reach. You can have it in the middle. You can have it this way. So I might be working long range, and if I come in to stab with this, that's not going to reach. I've got to move around and work this in. So my footwork and my body angling comes right into it in the way I'm going to move. Training with a spartery dagger, again, it's play time, it's working attributes, it's working with your partner, finding out where shots get in on you, how to open up him. Some of it can lead into trapping skills for empty hand work, where you can use the sword or the stick to trap against their limbs while you stab. Okay, we'll look at these sort of things. The functions of the weapon, apart from being the cutting edge, you have the punyal, again, great for hitting with this way, okay? You can hit with the short end and close. Of course, you can stab and cut, alright? Everyone knows how to use that. But don't neglect the end of the sword this way as well, okay? Now, if we're working, going into stick mode more, instead of having a sword, I might pick up a branch or a piece of wood, becomes more functional. I'll still use a dagger for the sake of using the dagger. It could be a bottle, as I said, or something short and sharp. Now, earlier with our Sinawali drills, we looked at two particular drills in the single stream, which were X pattern and advanced X pattern. Now, these two drills are also known as a 4 count or a 5 count when looking at a spartery dagger. What happens here is, again, the stance is based on our normal stance with the empty hand, guarding the throat, the right hand. Now we have a dagger. This is better. Whichever grip I have the dagger in, okay, it doesn't matter. Alright, I can work it this way. Now, what I want to have here with my X pattern or 4 count is a number 1 hit, stab, backhand, and a V motion. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just exaggerating the movements here, just so you can see where they're going. Okay, you'd want to tighten the whole thing up. Working it in this way. So here the stick's working long range, alright? I've got this sort of range. The knife, it's a shorter range. So if I work this particular motion into a left lead, I can hit and cut and hit and stab and actually reach with the knife. Okay? So working in different leads emphasizes the different range of the weapon. Here the range is still there, but here there's range now as well. So it does change up what's happening. I may start attacking or defending in a long range and then come through into a shorter range to finish off. So as I get closer to the opponent, I'm working in and then finishing with this. Again, being shorter, I need to force my way through with the longer weapon, whether it be sharp or blunt, doesn't matter. Now, with the X pattern relating to a 4 count, we also have the advanced X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which can relate to a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, snap, and V. 1, 2, 3, snap, V. 1, 2, 3, snap, V. This is using your stick, maybe to hit and to clear. Hit, clear, slash, hit again, stab. It could be to hit and stab. This could be a block. This could be a block, and then that could be a hit followed by a cut. That could be a block followed by a cut. It doesn't matter the function of the attack and the blocking, the defence. It will change as the fight goes on. You might go into hitting, bang, and you have to parry a shot, so you stab. Okay, again, it's working on the flow. Okay, knowing where. Okay, the weapons are. You're never really going to have them both out here at once or both back. Just one or the other. All right. Now, looking at Sinawali's, we had things, for example, like redondas. Okay, looking at these, the redonda Sinawali. We had things like double Sinawali, where we hit high, low, high, high, low, high. That's the Harada Sinawali. All Sinawalis based on double stream, for example. We had a double advanced. Snap, snap, 1, 2, 3. Snap, snap, 1, 2, 3. Okay? If we take the flow of this, 1, 2, 3, and then snap and snap, okay, what you find then is you're working your flow finished with a couple of, snapping shots. You find in a fight, it's picking the guy off. Pick, snapping shots. You're not going to actually redonda the guy's head in. Okay, you're not going to stand there and Sinawali at him. It's one for block, attack, counter, scissoring, boom, 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 whatever. You're going to work this way. So you can actually bang, 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 snap, snap, boom, 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 snap, snap. If they're redondas, up high, I take 1, 2, 3. Instead of going 4, 5, 6 and back to the beginning, I take 1, 2, 3, snap, snap. 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 If they're reverse, 1, 2, 3, snap, snap. 1, 2, 3, snap, snap. If they're doubles, 1, 2, 3, or high, low, high, snap, snap. High, low, high, snap, snap. They're all 5 counts. This is the thing. If I have my dagger, I can work redondas. Boom, 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 snap, hit. Boom, boom, snap, hit. Okay? They're all the same sort of function. Now, what I might do is just ask Jim to give us a hand, if possible, with some Espadari dagger. We'll look at some different combinations. Sword and dagger against sword and dagger. One stick against stick and dagger. Empty hand against knife and stick as well. Okay, just different combinations and how the actual moves and attributes can be worked. So we might just stick to stick and blunt knife. So first of all, we'll take the X pattern, which is our 4 count, and just working this sort of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, in this situation, I've got to really reach with my knife. If I take a left lead and we do this, but my knife gets much closer to him. I can actually reach both hands, all right, with the knife. So it's important to actually vary your lead. You see, if we're squared up, if we're squared up and doing this, it's a matter of which side of the body is going to lead a little bit, okay, to get that reach through. That's right, he can reach my hand here with the weapon of the stick. Either one, I can reach him there, and even, go into here. So the stance is really critical how you do this, all right? Now, fair enough, I might just walk up to him with the knife behind my back and pretend I've got a stick and go boom, bang, and stab him, all right? Again, it's attribute training and ways of understanding how to move that you're really learning with this combination. So, for example, if Jim comes in on an attack and I go for a snake and I do this and he stabs me, bang. slow motion stab. Stab, whack, whoa. Okay. Even if I cut his arm there, he's still got me. So, what I've got to get here is to get out of there, okay, and make him come towards me, all right? Then I get into this sort of business. I can return the knife and I can thrust and all this stuff. When you see that, you know, that comes up and that comes around, that's really hard to do off someone who just comes pouring in on you and goes, bang, all right? It's not going to work. But you might find in a fight situation that for some reason you end up grab his stick and you see this come in and you'll react that way. And then you can apply your technique, okay? So it's a matter of understanding what the technique's designed for, when it's meant to come out in combat, okay, and when it's not meant to come out in combat, okay? So if Jim's just feeding in shots and stuff and I'm trying to block him out, you know, and here I use the stick against the knife, of course, you know. If we continue on and we're doing things and trying to move that and I get to here, that might come in, I might hit it, all right? I might hit it and move it, might whack him on the knee. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to react. But the thing is, I've got a chance of reacting the right way if I find myself in that situation, all right? If I do find that I've got his stick wrapped up here, you know, in any sort of fashion, okay, and then this comes in, I don't want to freak and go, I'm going to get stabbed. I want to see this come in or know to move away from it and clear it and continue. So there's definitely a reason behind having the different functions for the weapons. For example, a way of using that same situation, if I haven't got a knife, he comes in on that attack, I might snake it here, and he stabs, I can parry that and hit him. He might come in on a shot, I get to here, I might not be able to parry it, okay, so I can step back and use the longer weapon. So now I'm using the range against his range. His long-range weapon's caught up for a moment, but I can get a shot in here, maybe hit the arm, and then, you know, the fight goes on from there. There's no guarantees about what's going to happen. Even if he comes in on a shot, say, and I might, you know, get the hat check and across the here. The knife comes in. I can use my stick to parry the knife. All right. Whether I hang on to this and try and scissor it or hit him with it, okay, I could go for a hit with the pummel of the knife rather than letting go and risking something else. You might come in, you might get to this, as that comes in there, sorry, if you go back there, and as that thrust comes in, you might jam on the inside, so you go to hook me with the knife, and you get this type of thing. You've got both closed off, all right? You're using the fact of your stick, you come around a little bit, you're blocking him off in this sort of thing, so if he comes in on a shot, boom, and that jams in there, it's like a shoulder stop. You're just hitting into here, all right? Sure, you can cut the arm, but, you know, you've got an exchange, okay? For example, if I have no knife again, and I do that same technique, the stim comes in to here, and, well, exactly. And that's pretty crazy, but people do crazy things under pressure, all right? I'm thinking, again, like I have with knife, of a tight boundary, all right, where I'm keeping in contact. I'm not reaching out for shots. I want to keep it closed and let the shots come to me. So if Jim attacks me on that, I get to here. If that's coming inside, I can sweep. I've got time to see where he's committed to come to. All right? If that goes around and I just reach out for it, he can get around that. If I let him come to me, you know, you're keeping away from it more. It's a bit more natural way of responding. I might have a knife and a stick and he comes in on the shot. I might cut this arm here. Sure, I get a broken arm in the process, all right, better than a broken head. He comes in, bang, I cut here. That might come back for a disarm that doesn't work. That comes in. Again, you can parry, you can cut it. If he hooks me with a knife, you've got this stuff. It'll probably cut and come straight into me. So in that case, if he comes through there, you've got to really try and block it. Okay? You'd be better off going back to our slash return business where he comes in, hitting and stabbing the guy straight away. Cut and stab. Regardless of that, if that comes in, at least you can move. It's coming from a long way away. If I've got nothing there and that comes in, I might try gunting, and a disarm doesn't work. That comes in, you might get behind it from the pummel flowing. It comes in, you might use the shoulder stop. Okay? Again, you want to have a couple of ways of reacting because, say, for example, I get into here and, I go for this one and I'm not ready for that. I've always trained a straight thrust coming through and doing this all the time, as he comes in. And then I get in this fight and the guy does a hook and it spins me out for a second because it's a different angle, all right? You can't let yourself get in that situation. When he comes in on the shot, you want to just, be ready for it to come at any, angle. You ask your partner to vary the angle and they'll vary the angle for you, all right? You might have a dagger right hand like before and cutting him. You might have it in your left hand. He comes in, you might, use the knife onto his knuckles. Now, this, is a pretty, tight manoeuvre, all right? You're risking letting go of your knife and getting the knife knocked out and stuff or hitting your own hand on the stick. That into the hand can be effective, though. If you see it's on and you've got it there, bang, that's a beauty. Regardless of that, if we're back to this business and this comes in, I could choose to let go of the stick and stab. I personally hang on to it and hit him, just to keep that weapon out of the way. You probably pull back with the knife, and cut my arm or hand. Again, it's better to be cut here than it is here. Say, for example, comes in on, if I got a sputtering dagger as well, you come in on a backhand shot there, you might have this sort of business. Now, that's going to stop the power, all right? It's still going to have momentum. That can be cool if it's checked here, all right? Or use your arm. From here, I go straight into it. Don't mess around, you want to finish the fight before it starts, all right? As you come in on that shot, and you get bang, you can hit the hand, of course, you're going to break it with this arm, or straight into here, all right? If it comes in with a knife after it, bang, you've already cut him, before that gets in there. Of course, that can, if it doesn't cut him, you can turn that into parrying again, all right? So all you're doing, really, is using the principles of anything that comes towards you, you're redirecting, and if it doesn't come towards you, you hit it. It's very simple. I attack Jim, and he does that, and he stopped it. It's not going towards him. He cuts it. There's that principle straight away. Okay, this is coming in. He parries it because it's coming towards him. That's not moving. He hits it. They land my head and everything else. So, this comes into here. He redirects and cuts. That comes across. Yeah, exactly. And that's when we get into this sort of business, where you might even snake it like in the stick work and try and get that around there. This comes in, you can parry that, okay? You come back with a knife. In which case, all that's happening there, that's all right. So they're just, straight in. He could use this stick to trap me and come over the top. Like exactly then, Jim got surprised and you didn't get the snake, so bang, he's straight in. Or he doesn't get the snake and goes low. Boom. Alright? If he does get the snake and gets that on, I'm still having a shot. Yes. Bang. Or he gets the snake on again and you can use the parry. Oh yeah, that's fine. You can snake that again. With this. Just snake it. Yeah. Knife into the body. So you'll end up in positions that are basically, to cut it doesn't move. That's it. Boom. Flat. You want to just play around and see. If I hit that. That's right. Now here, you go. And, parry. This. All right, whether I be thrusting. I use a stick. Yep, sure. No. It's okay. This is your Cebrano dagger 4 count. Okay. Now, what's happening with that's right. It's just working, a sequence sort of drill just to get the feel of it. If I might get to here, the thrust, he's going to parry that. Okay. So I check him off, put in the knife. Well, what's happening there is he might get jammed up, move this, and go to hit him. He's going to parry naturally. Bang. Or bang. So, if we're playing around, whatever. That's right. While he's doing one thing, something else happens. And back of the stick. Yeah. Boom. Bang. Boom. That's right. Because he's crossed up here, he has to use his other hand. That's right. So you find that things happen. That's true. You find things happen that you don't plan on happening, basically. You know, if this is the worst case scenario, you think you've got it all down, all that. What you've got down, what you're training, are attributes to react. Being able to suss out the situation, know the range of the weapons when they're occurring. Is this long or short? How do I go about this? To come across someone with a sword and a dagger, let alone a stick and a bottle all at once, okay, you're pretty well unlucky. Okay, all right, you're going to be relying on the muscle memory that you've drummed into yourself. So when we do things like if you attack and I get to here and that comes in and parry and kill, if another one comes in and the knife comes in, bang, and in, they're all just ways of training yourself, to react. And this sort of thing, here you have to watch that knife. From that, maybe his thrust, coming over the top, cut his arm. Again, you learn by playing with the weapons and seeing what they're like. So Jim hasn't got a knife for a second, and this comes in, and whatever you do, that's right. He's got to learn to react that same way. Might come in here. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's right. I don't tell him where it's coming from because then he'll start thinking. All right? I want to... That's right. That's right. That's it. That's it. Bang. So why, when you get the feel of it, it does something, and bang, and I'm hit. All right. Why stop there? Stop a little. Yeah, and keep going. So, I might get to that. I might redirect that. He's got me here, and he's in. Whoa! Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. You can take a shot to the body, to that, shot to my head. Okay, so you're just playing with it. We're not going fast. These are hardwood sticks, like these things. They're great. They're barky wood from the Philippines. But they take your head off, all right? Now, for example, just look at one principle, all right? If you this comes in here, and he snakes, and he's over, and hit me in the face. Bang. All right, we look at this particular technique. Boom, boom, boom. If you haven't got anything, and he, basically can get away with that, that's going to carry. Doesn't matter if I let go or not. That's better. Snake it away. Carry. Yeah. That's right. Making sure that he's checking that knife. Boom, boom. That's it. Headbutt. Why not? That's right. The principle is that he's using that same. That's great. That's great. If he just dropped down, we got my elbows. If he parries my punch, and this comes in, boom. Okay, I might have a shot and then go for a stab. Okay, the point is that he's upstairs defense, punch, the cut. That's right. It could be a thrust and then a punch. Well, you got it. It doesn't matter. Boom, boom, boom. You've got this, and you parry punch. Boom. You can still, or trap me and hit me. Same technique. Let go. Bang. Yeah. The point is, okay, now, good point. This comes in. Boom, boom. That's all right. And he traps. Now, here, if he comes in with an elbow, he's getting really close to this knife. All right? So, I'd recommend not using elbows and knees in this sort of situation. We're going for the palm, And that comes in, breaks my arm, gets to there. Palm shot, or even, that's it. Gets you well away from this. Admittedly, that's going to hurt. Bang, that's going to hit. Okay, and that just comes flying in. Okay, that's right. Okay, that's right. If Jim has nothing in the weaponry, he carries this. Same. Boom. Oh, no, sorry. One of the bang, get that across and in. All right. So, boom, boom, and through. All right. so then we get into, that's right. Again, he's parrying anything that's coming towards him and coming back into the counterattack if it's stationary. So if there's this, he'll get rid of that, and back in, being careful. Again, long arm, yeah. Long arm. So in this hand he punches, boom. That's right, that's checked away in this long arm. Alright. So, wow, I don't know, there's a million combinations if you come in on the shot here. I might sweep that and he punches, you know, you might parry from here. I can't let go of this, alright, maybe get rid of the two. Go. Comes into here, that comes into the punch, you get this sort of thing. You might end up with the two together. Break an elbow. Gets that hand, that comes in, and I'm all crossed up. Not good for me, not at all. I've got to uncross, you know, so you want to be aware of things like that. If that comes in down there, yeah, and then the punch comes in, here at least I'm not crossed up. Alright, if I get that, or just check it out, what will you do to me? Try and stay up, or pull up, or say I blocked it, pull out and cut. So I get cut on the arm. But he came in, better than getting cut in the body. Okay, so, what's that stick? Thanks, mate. If Jim's got a stick, and we get into this sort of thing, and that comes back, this might come in, bang, that's right. It might be bang, and whatever you do, whatever. Oh, I go for a cut there. Just free form. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we'll carry this arm away. Whatever. There, come over, so what's happening there, where is all that? We'll do something. Boom, that comes through. Here, I'm taking from underneath. That particular move, as you come in, and you do your move, as that comes in and he parries me, I come up underneath with my stick, just underneath go over. Boom. Even if it's coming in over the top. Okay. And something like that might turn into this. So you will counter. Stick. So you'll find usually one of the weapons is always free to move at some point. Golden rule, know when to let go of the weapon. Okay, if he's got you caught up and you're struggling over the weapon, let go and use empty hands. Bang, straight in, kick it away. Don't bend down and pick it up. It'll get you while you're bending down. Kick it away because if he does get it, of course you don't want to wear it. Just brush it aside. Don't worry about his mates grabbing it and coming in and killing you. At least, you know, you've got a chance of the weapon out of the way. Maybe one of your mates will pick it up. So a Spadari dagger is really working long range and short range. Okay, it's a long weapon and a short weapon. If Jim and I are fighting out of this range, my knife's redundant. I cannot use him. Yes. When he comes in, he steps up with the left lead because the knife's in the left hand. He's got to reach. He's got to get this shoulder forward more to reach. It's a much shorter weapon. All right? So if I'm keeping him out here, that's right. That allows him to get in, or maybe I'll come in. Okay? The sticks start getting a little bit, cluttered maybe, but the knives really come into it. It's the old story about whether you're fighting in a phone box or in a field. So while I'm at this range, it's all sticks and stuff. I can toss the knife away. I don't want it. When I get into here, now I start using the knife because I can reach the limbs and slash. Remember, slash the limbs and stab the body. Okay? And when I get into closer still, I want to get into a left lead. So in a way, I've got a long-range lead. With this, I'm coming up into a more square stance and finishing in the left lead. If you want to break it down that way, it's just to say that the range, bang, bang, bang. All right? There's no way you're going to get this. All right? Perfect for cutting. Fill the forearm. You want to get this happening this way. All right? So whether it be if we're mucking around and the shots are coming in, you'll notice, and notice it with yourself, that if we're out here, as soon as someone takes a knife move or of some kind, that the range changes. They square up straight away and are working this type of thing, all right? They're not going to stay back out here, hit, and try and pick it off. It's going to come in and cut this way. Okay? Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so in the contents of the Espadari Daga, there's not a lot that you can break it down to except for the length of the weapon, whether it's blunt or sharp, alright? It depends on the range as to what weapon that you can use. You won't always have these two weapons against the other two weapons, but they teach you attributes and way of reacting and moving and cashing in on your own thing, alright? It's important to practice with them, okay? If you broaden your training, it's going to give you more skills with your solo baston and double baston work and knife work, as well as your empty hand work especially. So, best of luck with all this. Any questions, give me a call. The dagger you'll find and the Espadari dagger do go together virtually pretty closely. You know, you'll find as you're playing around with the weapons, you know, complement to each other, how they differ. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Left down, right up. Good. Right up, left down, left inside. Outside. Right up, inside, outside, left. Now. Good coordination drill. Good. Left down, right up. Right inside up. Outside. You got it going. Running off. Inside, outside. Go, get out. Good. 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 Left. Opening up with a twist and doing all of that.
Trying to simulate openings on each other. Okay. We're just working the six around, trying to slip them. None of the strikes can be on the knees or below. It's all above the knees.
And the thumb is the weakest spot of the hand. So you've been grabbed. You just simply strip. You never can hold. Okay, now he grabs, I might strip. He does a bear hug on me, right into the groin, or maybe right in the back. You hit, switch, switch, make your own imagination of carrying, lifting, and using all of that motion. Right. Okay. The same thing applies with the hand. When you, because as you start to work it, And of course, you're in the lead. You're already penetrated just by your defense. Again, we repeat. 1, 2, 3, boom. And the other side doing the same. 1, 2, boom.
None of the strikes can be on the knees or below. It's all above the knees. Then we start to try and check the opponent's stick a little bit. Keep it out of there.
They concentrate on grabbing, like the Aikido people, or some Filipino knife fighters. They concentrate on holding this one. You come up with a street guy, you put some oil here, you hold him, and he slips. And you get cut, see? No more control. You try to control him like that, he slips. You get cut, see? And you have to have your hand cut. Give your hand, but work on him. The same way as I just told you a recent ago, see? Work on him. You might lose an arm, but you're still alive. That guy is finished, he's dead, he's done.
You got to know, punch. One hand controls. One hand can hit. Punch. One hand can hit. One hand controls this hand. So what I want you to do, you're going to punch left hand. If the left hand, right hand's over, the right hand controls. This hand hit here. But in practice, just tuck the bicep. I can hammer fist the bicep, I can knuckle the bicep, hit it here, and hit palm this way. If you hit this hard enough, you can numb this whole arm. But use your penetrate. Punch. See, I carry this right here. Still in a ready position. So punch. See what you're doing? The on top hand controls the outside hand hit. When you hit the arm only, just touch. Punch. 1, 2. 1, 2. When you open, I can change. I can put the left hand over control. Hit. Left hand control. Hit. Only when you're open. Hit. 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 Right hand over. Left hand over. Here I shook. I gotta know which is my top hand. Which is the low hand. This is it. So once you're here, you're already in this position. You're stuck. You gotta come out.
Your attention, your strategy, your thrust. Use your body weight. Everything. Use your head. See, everything. Then work on him again, see? See, the body is a natural protection. So, when you hit him with a knife like this, up, because the heart is located somewhere here, protected by the breastbone and the ribs, see? Like this.
Law enforcement likes this stuff because we don't go to the head, we don't go to the body. We take the limbs. Okay, and they don't come out this way. You see it?
None of the strikes can be on the knees or below. It's all above the knees. Keep it out of there. And you can try and incorporate disarms with it as well. Anytime you can get the stick, say,
different positions, lying down, running, things like that, forward, backward, forward, left, right, things like that. Keep on moving. Because in a real fight, you don't stand. Just keep on moving. Keep on moving.
That's it. Or a backhand low slash. So I'm telegraphing the slashes here just to help with the angle of the attack. So any time that you carry...
Inside, outside. Go, get out. Good. 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 Check. So one person is from the outside. Check. Then both of you are just confused with each other. Before long, it's like a dance. And then you can even change so that he becomes the inner person while you do the outer.
Every time that you carry the hand, there's a potential disarm. Just switching it down and in. Now sometimes you end up on the inside. They have got control still here. Here.
That switch, your hand blocks, and that effect is jazz off his forward, bam, it's a takeoff. Your foot simply acts as a spring. This is like a switching foot, doing that, and before long you've entered. Back, go back, go back, go back, go back.
Down to here is thrusts. I can switch that down, just drop my arm straight onto it, either thrust or on the high line, it's just straight across. Alright? Well, that's more a hooking front. I'll hit it on the way through into the snake. Alright? Recover that. And when you hit the arms, with your thrust and the throat, it's got the whole...
Grabbing, just like this. I'm using a lot of arm, upper body, but if I collapse my body weight, it also reinforces, even at a distance here. I'm going to close the gap. To show this and step out is a slight delay in time factor. Where I collapse, that momentum of these bang, collapse, bang, and you'll see what effect it'll have, just as a feint. Right? Number 3, to the rib. Or if the arm gets in the way, into the elbow, into the forearm, and vice versa. 3 and 4. Number 5, anywhere from the groin up into the abdomen, doing that. Number 6, into the upper chest. Right, this up.
I'd just like to mention the Budo Martial Arts school here.
we'd like to demonstrate for you is just a bit of an exhibition about how the different weapons are used in the Filipino martial arts. What we're going to do from there, take it into a bit of training methods where you'll see drilling, followed by some free sparring with the weapons themselves. So just get comfortable, have a look, see what you think of this. Then you just come up and speak to these people here ringside, put them on glass to a place, Aaron up there, well, Aaron up throughout the lane, come and see everyone here ringside, I'll give you information on the fire.
skydiving exhibition with thanks to people from Walksafe that we're having this afternoon. Also there's a fantastic ride.
They learn how to hit each other. They can try it out with the padding that we have to protect themselves. Jim here using a nunchaku. Wayne using a padded stick. Anyway, good idea. Thank you guys. Let's have a look at some stick on stick. Come down to the ring, we'll do that martial arts. So that was really everything. Thanks very much.